In this guide, I'm going to show you how to succeed in Semrah Titanic Ruins Guild Boss 2. Specifically here, I'm doing an epics only challenge where I'm going to get 30,000 or more mech fragments, aka points, in Apocalypse 1 Semrah Guild Boss 2. However, as with all of my epic only content, the point of this is to teach you guys the strategy, the techniques, and the general structure to what I'm going to do so you can substitute in better heroes. Bring your legendary heroes, bring your amazing stuff. You know, there's no reason not to. You don't have to run an all epics team. Don't try to mirror this exactly. Where you have opportunities to improve on the heroes I use, absolutely do that. Upgrade them. If you've got a Torador, do not bring Wrath like I am doing. The reason I am choosing to do this is twofold. Number one, this provides a total baseline from which everyone can relate to these heroes and then upgrade them as they see fit with respect to their own specific roster, their own specific account. I think this makes the content as accessible as possible. And number two, it is part of the hashtag Slate challenge. Slate is an amazing content creator. Go check out her channel. The link will be in the description. She challenged other content creators in the month of July to try to get 30,000 points, 30,000 mech fragments in Apocalypse 1 of Guild Boss 2 by only using epic heroes and free legendary heroes. I took the challenge a little further. I said no Helga, no Volca, no Abomination, none of that amazing stuff. I'm gonna go straight up all epics. And to my knowledge, I have so far put up the highest score for an all epics team. I got almost 37,000. Hopefully in this guide, when we jump in 1 second, I can replicate that or do even better.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Before we get into it, I want to say one more thing, and that is everything you see me do here can 100% be applied to Apocalypse 2. Apocalypse 2 is the exact same thing as Apocalypse 1, except it's much harder. Simple as that. I actually think this team would have a decent shot at getting 8,000 mech fragments on Apocalypse 2. If you want to see me try that, I certainly can. However, I want to let them shine. I also want to succeed in the challenge, so I'm going to do Apocalypse 1, and we're going to get over 30K. If you appreciate this content, please subscribe. Please thumbs up the video and let me know in the comments, or criticize me in the comments and let me know how I can do better. But to be completely transparent, I spent 7 hours on this, at least 7 hours. It was over 3 hours last night, and it's been over 4 hours this afternoon, grinding away at it, making it work. I never thought it would be this hard. Alrighty guys, let's get into it and let me show you how to absolutely do a great job in Guild Boss 2 Semrah. Alrighty folks, let's head in. I figure I'll show you all the builds at the end, but to give you a sense, this is some of the best gear on my account. We'll go to Deimos. He's the main DPS here. You can see it's very nice. It's not crazy, but it's very nice. You need a ton of attack for Semrah, so I've got him up at 14.7, which doesn't seem that high, but when you're working with epics, they have much lower base stats. Deimos especially coming in at 3,333, 3,333 base attack. I do not like that. Fairly fast, but not that fast at all. Crit capped and under 300% crit damage. This is the best I could do, getting him in a Soulbound Arcana set while pumping his attack to the moon. This just gives you a sense the kind of gear we're using. He's going to be in a maxed out Wailing Skull. Let me show you one more hero. We've got Wrath, also in a maxed out Wailing Skull. These are the only two fighters I was able to put Wailing Skulls on. And you can see he's got Soulbound Arcana here. Slightly more typical build. It was easier because he's got much higher base attack at 4,800, but still not crazy high. Coming in at 18,111. You can see 347 attack speed, 1.5 second interval. Again, nothing too crazy. Crit capped, and then just over 300% crit damage. This is what we were cooking with. So I'll show you all the other builds at the end, but I think the more important thing to do now before we head in and do the battle is for me to walk you through each role that each one of these heroes is fulfilling, because that's kind of how you create your Semrah team, your Guild Boss 2 Titanic Ruins team. You only have 10 spots. I mean, only, it's actually unique as a battle where we can bring 10 heroes, but you really need people wearing multiple hats or really fulfilling one role extremely well. So let me talk you through it. Wrath here is our Nightmare Lord. This is essential since he's one of our best DPS. Then Vladov is a good DPS, and certainly Deimos is going to be our #1 DPS in this comp. Then on top of that, generally he has good DPS potential and tankiness because he's a rare that happens to have much higher base stats than our typical. So that's really what Wrath is doing. He'll be our second highest DPS. Then we've got Deimos over here. He's our #1 DPS. The reason he really shines, and these are the kind of heroes you guys can look for, he ignores defense, right? So you can see he gets these stacks of tearing, and when he reaches max stacks, he will start ignoring 15% of the target's defense. The defense and magic resistance in Semrah is exceptionally high. So the more ignore defense and the more high attack you can get on your team, the better. Deimos, I really think, is the best epic DPS in the game for Guild Boss 2, full stop. Like, I honestly don't think it's close. If you guys have other candidates, let me know. But I tested 9 different teams or something. Like I said, I tinkered with this for over 7 hours. Deimos is a god for this. So he's really there, straight up DPS. Then we have Vladov. Vladov you could use as a Lord, but we're just using him with his other dual faction membership as our 3rd Nightmare unit. There are many versions of this team comp where I ran 4 Nightmare units. It was like these 3, and then throw in Gluttony or throw in Baron. I tried a lot of different things. I found in the end, I just went for 3, so we do not get the max capability of the Lord skill from Wrath. We don't get plus 35% attack speed boost, but it's still plus 20%, and it is significant. So Vladov's there to be a 3rd Nightmare unit, to provide decent DPS, and then one other key thing, he provides extremely consistent uptime on bleed. So why is bleed so important? Well, first off, it's going to be continuous damage over time. That is true damage equaling 1% of the target's max HP. It is nerfed, this effect, in Semrah, but it still is significant. But the key thing here is it kind of serves as its own version of physical damage vulnerability, and it causes your target to receive 10% more physical damage. All the damage we are bringing is physical damage, all our key DPS, so this is not insignificant at all. It certainly helps us. Great option for a 3rd unit. There honestly are not many good epic DPS in this game, so he performed really well. Now we've got Dolores. It's a no-brainer. She brings inspiration. This is a buff where she shares a portion of her attack with everyone else around her. At Awaken level 1, it is 60%. And guys, that is essential because you need to make sure your attack is higher than the target's defense or magic resistance. The key stat here is going to be defense. And like I said, Semrah's defense and also his magic resistance are incredibly high. And it's even harder to get over those defense thresholds when you're bringing these low stat epic units. Dolores, though, will fit into any team. She is completely clutch. Dolores or Constance, those really are your options. Obviously, Constance is legendary, so I couldn't bring her, but amazing inspiration hero. Then Hollow, she serves for heals, but most importantly, rage regeneration. This is absolutely essential for cycling 2 of our key units later in the fight. For phase 1, we have Nazim. We need him ult cycling at a proper clip. We need rage regeneration for that. And then for phase 3, with all the venom and all the toxic stuff and the poisons getting placed on us, we need consistent cleanses, and absolutely Midon needs rage regeneration for that. So you can already see why Elowen is so good, right? So if you have Elowen, just bring her because she can fulfill 2 of these roles. She can do the rage regeneration and she can do the cleansing. That already opens up 1 spot on your roster. She's also just way better in a lot of other ways as a healer than these guys. But that is kind of key. If we go down now, we've got Rourke. Rourke is actually serving as my tank. You need a tank because if we look at the monster manual, it is very important. You'll see with his ability Steel Fist, he smashes the ground, dealing AoE damage, but then immediately he deals single target damage to the hero with the highest HP. So you need a tanky hero that you build with your highest HP to accept that single target hit. Because if you don't have a unit built for it, he's just going to one-shot KO everybody and just chip through your roster. So that is the main role Rourke is fulfilling. He will put out a little DPS. He works well because he's an HP-based damage dealer, but it's nothing compared to some of these other guys. But certainly it is not insignificant. And then the other key thing with Rourke is he is a Northerner Lord, and we are bringing 3 other Northerners besides him, and they are absolutely essential units. I chose Rourke over Isolde, who's the other Northerner Epic Lord, for 2 reasons. 1, he does provide a little DPS, and that is nice. For this fight, he can tank it fine, so it's not like Isolde had some big advantage. And then, I think an extremely slept-on thing with Rourke is going to be his talent over here. The hero grants a shield equal to 15% of max HP to whoever casts an ultimate within 1 tile, lasting for 10 seconds. Shield strength increases by 100% when the effect works on this hero. So he gives himself a really big shield, but very important for us, he's going to give 2 other key Northerners, Estrid and Midon, shields because they will be adjacent to him. They'll be within 1 tile. Absolutely clutch. You're talking all the adjacent tiles, 3 in front, 3 behind, 1 to the right, 1 to the left. I love Rourke for this fight, especially for the challenge I was doing here. Now we've got Estrid. She's a very good DPS, but most importantly, by a mile, she provides defense break. So you can see she has her talent here where basic attacks launched have a 20% chance of triggering 2 strikes in a row. Why am I mentioning that? Well, if we look over here at the passive, each attack has a 30% chance of inflicting defense reduction, and this is a 30% defense break, so reduces Semrah's defense by 30%. His defense is so high. Without this comp would never ever work. There are a lot of legendary options you can bring to do this, but for epics, Estrid is the queen, and this is really nice. So you have a 30% chance of this happening. Combine that with the 20% chance of doubling up on the basic attacks from the talent. That is very, very good. And then if we look at her awakenings, if we go to her awaken at level 3 over here, you'll see your chances get a little better because now during Blade Storm, which is her ultimate, her manual ultimate, you have a 25% chance separate from the talent that you will land 2 strikes in a row. It's really nice. She has incredibly high uptime on defense break because if you did not notice it, it lasts for a full 5 seconds. So you can see it's a 30% defense reduction and it will last for 5 seconds. So you can keep the uptime on that near permanent as long as you build her with a little bit of speed. And certainly we did do that. 305 additional attack speed brings her up to 405. I'll just show you quickly now. 1.4 second on the attack interval. Now let's head back over here and wrap it up. Mid-on is here for healing, yes, but most importantly, cleanses. Her healing is important, and Rourke does help with that because her A5, if you get her Awaken 5, it leads to better healing when she's shielded. So now whenever she ults, she will get the shield from Rourke, and then we'll get the increase by 20% in the healing multiplier. But then she has very nice cleanses as well. So she'll be very clutch for when we need these intermittent heals during phase 2. And then most importantly, she is our key unit. She's the only epic cleanser in the entire game, and we do need that for phase 3 to cleanse off those poisons. Now, the final member I added to the squad, Vortex, he became totally essential. I tried so many people in this 10th spot, including Vortex earlier, but then I went back to it and just kind of refined my strategy. He provides big shields, and this is significant, obviously, because I'm not bringing any damage reduction. Damage reduction meaning you place a debuff on the boss that causes him to do less damage to you. This is such an essential debuff for this fight, and all of you can get it for free. Volca does it fairly consistently. If you have her exclusive artifact, even more consistently, and she is a free hero. So you should absolutely use her. Like, bring Volca instead of Vladov. You're good to go. For me, this was not an option because I can't bring legendary heroes, even if they're 100% free. So why don't I bring another source of damage reduction? The only good epic one for that is Draga, and she's one of the only epics in the entire game I don't have. She's one of 2 epics currently in the game that I don't have. She does have a damage reduction, and she can work really well. You could bring her as your tank and another member of the Nightmare faction very, very easily. Because I don't have those damage reductions, I need shields at clutch moments, and that is where Vortex comes in. You'll understand better once we enter the fight. Finally, very simply, for phase 1, you need consistent crowd control in the form of stuns or freezes, and for epics, it does not get better and easier than Nazim. It is crazy. During his ultimate, you will see to enemies who have been attacked at least 3 times during the ultimate, all future attacks after that will inflict stun, so he easily can get you to the max 12 stuns that brings the boss's attack all the way to the basement. This was essential for phase 1. Another good free-to-play option would be Livian. You can literally fuse her for free, and she is an epic, but she does not put out stuns at the clip of Nazim, not even close, so you need a secondary source of stuns. For me, for this comp, it was simpler just to bring Nazim. He's the only one I need to worry about. Okay, guys, you understand the roles. The key things you need besides DPS are the crowd control, the cleanse, the shields and/or damage reduction, defense break. If you can get something like bleed or vulnerabilities, very good. You need inspiration, you need a tank, and you need rage regeneration. I hope I have that covered. And ideally, you're running your comps with faction lords. Let's head into the fight. I'm going to do this manual. I might not get this on my first try. I might not get this on my 8th try. This is very, very tight timings. Hopefully we head in and we nail it right now. Wish me luck, guys. I will also talk you through all of the placements because I have several heroes wearing invigoration sets. These give themselves a 10% attack buff and 1 other ally in range. So I'm going to place everybody strategically so I can get all the right DPS wearing those invigoration buffs. So first off, I'm going to very quickly place Deimos here, and then I'm going to place Wrath right next to him. I do that quickly because they are both wearing Wailing Skull artifacts, so I don't want to give those artifacts time to proc and then the little shadow guy appears, and then I can't place units where I want to place them. So we place them side by side, and you will see I strategically leave the tile next to Deimos open and next to Wrath open so they can keep proccing when we need it. Now I'm going to place Hollow, and I will place Vortex, and you will see they're both wearing Invig sets, so you can see plus 10% attack, plus 10% attack here, and that's significant because now they have landed on Wrath and then Deimos. These are our top 2 DPS. I have another Invig set to place, so we can place Estrid here, and now we can place Nazim, and we have one final one to do, so we can place Vladov here, and we can place Dolores. So those are the 4 heroes I have wearing Invig, and those are the 4 heroes I have receiving it. Let me quickly place these last 2, and then I'll finish it off by explaining the last placements. Originally, I had Midon in Invigoration, but she needed such a particular build, such particular stats, I couldn't get away with my Invigoration gear. I also didn't have that many attack-based DPS once, we added Rourke into the mix and he became our tank. So essentially, Midon is in a Mana Spring set, giving her plus 3 Rage Regen auto a second. More on that when we go through the builds, but basically it helps her cycle her ultimate a lot better on phase 3. For me, again, it was kind of essential. But you saw Nazim was wearing Invig. This is to place it on Estrid. There you go. And then also, who is the last one? We got Vladov here. He received it from Dolores. And very important, put your Dolores in a good Invig set. I will say, my Dolores has one main stat on the right with HP bonus because I needed to make sure my heroes stopped dying. This has been the ultimate headache. All right, we're off to the races. Pretty easy now. I can even throw it on 2x. I'm not going to put out any DPS, at least nothing like manually that I can control. I'm waiting for this bar to show up. Sorry, guys, if you think I'm being pedantic, but I do want this to be like a beginner holistic guide. And you can see you have Death Saw. He's going to charge up his Saw, and we can prolong this occurrence from happening by doing the crowd control effects, maxing out at 12 occurrences. So I'm waiting for that to show up, and then that is when I will trigger Nazim. There it is. So we trigger him, and right away I'll trigger Hollow, so she can already start giving him rage, so he's ready for the next one. And now we just wait, we wait. You can see with every tick, he pushes this is the timer until it's going to go. He pushes it back a little bit, and this goes up to 12 times. Once you get 12 reductions, you'll see he has less than 100% attack reduced. More than 100% of his attack is reduced, so he actually doesn't do any damage to us. Very, very key. So you can see he'll try to deal damage. Nothing's going to happen. It looks interesting, but it actually even heals us a little bit, which is funny because it is negative attack at this point. We wait towards the very end, and there are these brief vulnerability windows whenever you beat him in one phase. Each rotation, there's 3 phases. So at the beginning, we are going to take good advantage of that. So you can see, just as this starts again, Nazim came up again, so we trigger him. He'll control the last. And now what I do, let's throw it on 1x. When we hit about 3%, Vladov's ult takes forever to trigger, so do him first, and then we go down the line. So Dolores, of our DPS, I mean. So Dolores, Estrid, Rourke does not need Dolores because he's HP based, but we will trigger him. And then finally Deimos. We won't always do this to take advantage of the vulnerability windows, but for this point in the fight we do, because might as well put out some nice DPS at the beginning. You can throw this on 2x now. So this is the Aegis phase. This is where he does big shields. He has falling rocks. He does the Earth Shatter where he wipes a giant AoE. Very scary stuff. We'll certainly need Vortex for this later, but I will say, at least in Apocalypse 1, the first rotation or first round, we'll call it a round 1, when he hasn't done any of the buffs over here to himself, like the hand, whatever, I was gonna say emoji, the hand icon that will appear. When none of those have been stacking, you're kind of good to go. So I'm not gonna do anything special. We'll just wait. You can see we're taking it down like it's nothing. That was the first Earth Shatter. Now he starts putting these Aegis stacks. These are going to enhance his damage and also make him take less damage. If you have someone like Lucius, they can dispel these, for temporary periods of time. You can do it strategically. That's what I do on my main Apocalypse 2 team. But obviously, Lucius, he ain't epic. No, he is not. He is a legendary hero. So we wait. We're going to do the same kind of thing here. We'll let all the ults build up. Here's an Aegis mode. When we're at about 3%, I'll do Vladov. Here's an Earth Shatter. So I'll trigger here just so you can see. Those are the shields. And then, yeah, 4%, that's fine. Let's throw this on 1x. Go down the line. Should not have triggered Nazim. That was a mistake. So hopefully I can tough it out. Nazim's not going to do any damage, so you might as well tough it out without him and then have his ult ready for Actually, I'm insane. I don't have the Death Saw. I'm getting ahead of myself. Of course I should use Nazim. This is going to be the poison round. My mistake. I thought we were already headed back to phase 1. My mistake, guys. Pretend I said nothing. So here we go. You can see he instantly places poison on us. If you ever have more than one stack of poison, it is like absolute chaos time. You got to get that cleansed off as soon as possible. So what we're going to do now, I'll throw this on 1x. I've done a lot of testing with this today. You can very reliably trigger this much earlier than you think because of the delay. So basically, as soon as he starts going back with his arm up, like this, when he fixes the moment where he starts going forward at all, like here, that's where we can trigger mid on already. And she does cleanse it off, so you're good to go. Normally, I would already have Hollow's ult readied and prepped. But again, for the first round, it does not matter much at all because we've got way too much DPS for this first round. Instantly with round 2, it gets a lot harder. And then round 3, that's what I've been hitting my head against the wall over for many hours. That's when it gets supremely hard. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we will reach round 4. But for this, we're kind of good to go already. So you can throw it on 2x. We'll do the same thing we did for the previous ones and trigger Hollow there. We don't care about one stack of poison in round 1, so we're more concerned about getting the DPS out at the right time. Let's wait. There we go. Let's get Vladov. Now we go down the line. Don't use Nazim. So this is what I thought I did last time. Don't use Nazim. Save him because we've got a Death Saw coming back to phase 1 already. There's just the 3 phases. Now that is the end of round 1. So save Nazim. Throw this thing on 2x. And you can see we've put out some points. You know, we'll be somewhere close to 7,500 or 8,000 points. Yeah, there you go. 78, 85, 7,900. It's totally fine. Doesn't matter. Let's quickly trigger mid on here to get that cleanse off. We're good. So we're waiting for that Death Saw again. As soon as it pops up, I'm going to trigger Nazim. There's a big slam. Later on, we might use Vortex just in case someone will get picked off by that slam. Like, honestly, there's definitely not described mechanics that lead to his damage continually ramping up, not just round to round or cycle to cycle, but like within one phase. I don't understand it. If you guys do, let me know. But it has been the bane of my existence. There's Death Saw. As soon as it comes up again, trigger Nazim, and then Hollow. And actually, again, for phase 1, we'll put out enough DPS. Don't worry about it. So I'm not going to use anything again until the end. I actually will already show you a trick so we can be best prepared for phase 2. So we let that happen. We'll leave it all. We'll wait. And you can see before he even goes to swing, my Nazim is already at 55%. I built him with a lot of rage regen, a lot of attack speed, and then a very key artifact you're going to see, the Nightmare Samsara artifact. I call it the War Guides artifact because he told me about it like a year ago now. But basically every 5 attacks, 5 basic attacks, which is frequent because I built him fast, we get a big boost in rage in his ult bar. So you'll see that when we go through the builds. There's the slam. Already ready for the next Death Saw, excuse me. Trigger that. Doesn't really matter. There is a way to glitch this to make the Death Saw go again even after we beat this phase. I will not be doing that now. I can't do it reliably. There you see. And I could do it now because I'm not so worried about phase 2 in round 2, but I want to show you already how I'm going to approach phase 3. Round 3, when we do phase 2 and round 3, the Aegis part the 3rd time around. So I'm actually going to show you how to do that now. So he goes, I'm saving all my ults. His head comes up once. His head comes up twice. Now when his head starts coming up the 3rd time, we go Vladov, and now we go down the line. So the reason I do it this way is because I don't care as much about taking advantage of the vulnerability window. I want to put out as much early damage the second that health bar fills back up as possible, so I can already chunk it away before he starts getting the Aegis hardening stacks on himself, and it becomes more and more difficult to take him down. Like I said, with my builds here, I don't care too much about round 2. I can handle it pretty well, but certainly for round 3, we will need to do this strategy and try to hop it early. We don't care about taking advantage of the vulnerability window and getting another 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 points. It's not about that. It's about getting to the next phase and getting the extra 5,000 or 6,000 points, right? So let that go. Here comes the first Earth Shatter. That one won't hurt us because he has no stacks. It's not really until the 2nd and 3rd that we care. So I don't care here. We'll let him hit us. And now basically I want to time everything out with Dolores if I can. But you can see, look at that. He's been going for like not even 30 seconds and we already took out over half of the bar before we ever started putting stacks on. Very clutch, very strategic to do it that way. So let's wait. I don't want to just trigger Dolores willy-nilly. I want to make sure all our DPSers have their ults ready. Ideally, we'll do it towards the end of this so we can take advantage of the vulnerability phase and already put some DPS into the poison rounds, because the poison rounds for me are the hardest for Apocalypse 1. That definitely becomes that this phase is the hardest in Apocalypse 2, but in Apocalypse 1, those poison rounds, especially when you're just rocking a mid-on or something, no element or anything, extremely difficult. Let's wait. So here's an Earth Shatter. So this is how we do it. We trigger Vortex. He gets those shields up. Beautiful. And now everyone's ready. Now we'll go down the line. So we'll do Vladov. Wait a second. Now Dolores, Estrid. We can already get Hollow going just to help. Rourke, and then Deimos. And you'll see we'll take this out no problem. So it wasn't perfectly optimized, but even when we get the kill, Deimos has like half his ult left. Dolores has like a third. It's something. So we'll build a little bit of damage. This is the vulnerability phase popping up. You can see he's in the weakened state now. Here come the poisons. Already, I think in round 2, phase 3, the second time you have to face the poison round, the poison phase, it's already difficult. So let's 1x this and let me walk you through it. This is the point where if I was running an auto and not walking you guys through it, this is where I would interrupt the run to take over and start making sure everything went properly, because this is where it gets very RNG dependent, very hairy, very awful. I would say after all this, and obviously I've done Semrah a ton before this specific challenge, but I put so many hours of my life into Semrah now, and I think I don't like this content. It's not bad, it is engaging because it's hard, but the reasons it's hard are not all intentional. A lot of it is that they've hidden information from us. There's unnecessary RNG. To me, I don't particularly enjoy it. So hopefully this guide helps some of you guys have less of a headache than I've had. So there he goes. He's coming forward just for a second. Now we can trigger mid on. Instantly, I'll trigger Hollow. Vladov's almost ready. All right, let's wait. All right, let's go. Let's wait till Deimos is just over 90. Okay, we'll go Vladov, Dolores. Let's wait. Let's get Deimos. Rourke. Here comes the big slam. I hate that, but we'll tank it. Don't worry. And now this is the big thing. It's going to be most important when this happens the third time, but it already is important now. So you'll see he's going to do his big venom thing, whatever he calls that. Let's see. His acidic venom where he does his dragon poison hand, and he does that. But then after that, he always does his Cyclops gaze. And this seems to scale with if you're wearing poison, and seems to hit harder as you go through the specific phase. It's not confirmed anywhere, at least not anything I was able to find and read. But anecdotally, that's what I've been experiencing. So I instantly get wary of this if the fight doesn't go quick through the phase at all. I suggest you do the same. So the way we're going to do it, he's going to apply poisons. You can see I cannot do every single poison application a cleanse with mid on, so we're going for every other. So for this one, in comes Vortex. Don't do it when he places it. Wait a second. Now look on the left. I'll move myself out of the way for 1 second. He's going to place his left hand. As soon as he plays left hand, that's when you trigger Vortex, because now he's placing his left hand to gear up to do the Cyclops gaze, which I hate, which has ruined my run many times. Who knows? Maybe it will ruin this one. So there you go. There it comes. Hitting way too hard, even with the shields. I hate that stuff. And there we go. We're finished through round 2. I really hope this is helping, guys. I really do. I'm so deep in the weeds now. I don't know if I'm being helpful. I hope I am. So you can see Hollow's ready. I'm not going to trigger her now because I want to time it out with Nazim. We're no longer optimizing for DPS, but quite frankly, I don't care. Let's get the cleanse off already. No reason to leave those poisons up. Throw it on 2x. We can just sit for a second. And we actually can completely control phase 1 still, because Nazim does make it that easy. So I will time this all out perfectly, so we have as much DPS ready, all the ults ready, just like we did at the end of phase 1 into phase 2 for round 2. We'll do the same thing here in round 3. As we head into the Aegis round after that. That's kind of all I'm already thinking about. Head to the Aegis round, because the only 2 hard phases we're gonna have faced now, this will still be easy, are gonna be the third time we do the Aegis and the third time we do the Venom, the poison. So the next 2 things coming up. So I just want to get ready. I want to be prepared. So we wait for that Death Saw. Here comes a slam. See, he's hitting so hard already. See, he's got the buff too. He's got 2 of these hands. It gets harder and harder, guys. It really does. Should be any second now. Come on, Death Saw. Come on, there it is. All right, trigger. All right, very nice. We can do a quick DPS around here just to make this go a little faster for the guide. So I'll go down the line. Doesn't matter too much. We'll sit on everything else moving forward. Also, when he comes with the slam, I'll just show you in case you need to do it. Not this one, but the flat hand slam. I will trigger Vortex so you can see that properly. So he's getting ready to do that annoying stuff. Or is he? No, he's going straight to Death Saw this time. My mistake. Let's wait. Don't worry, Nazim will be ready. Trigger. See, he just got the benefit from his artifact. Now we trigger Hollow. And it is a legendary artifact, so it's super accessible. Everyone's nearly loaded up. The reason I could be a little overzealous is because we're not going for the kill right now. We're going for after the revive when we see that health bar going back. Still a little tight. I didn't think we'd kill him that fast. So I'm definitely not going to put out any extra DPS that I don't have to. There we go. Okay, they're all ready. So I wasn't too overzealous. So he's going to fall right now. And remember, we're going to wait. He raises his head once. He raises his head twice. And then when he starts on the third time, trigger Vladov. Up goes the bar. Go down the line. And you're going to see we got to maximize as much DPS right now as possible in this window before there are any hardening stacks and there's any Aegis. So same thing's still going to go, guys, for the first Earth Shatter. Because he doesn't have any hardening stacks, he doesn't have any Aegis buff, he's not really going to be able to hurt us, so we can tank that without anything. But then this is when it gets really tricky, and this is what I figured out over like the past hour before I started filming, and when I finally succeeded. So I'm going to walk you through this very, very pedantically, very slowly. So we'll wait for the first smash. We can definitely trigger Hollow. Let's wait for the first smash. That one will tank fine, even the Falling Rocks. Now he's going to start doing the Aegis modes. I'm keeping an eye on Dolores. I'm keeping an eye on my DPS. You see, we already got him almost to halfway. We took such good advantage at the beginning. 2.5 minutes left, and he's already nearly halfway. That's really good. It's going to get really hard once he gets a bunch of stacks. Here comes a big slam. We'll tank it. It's hard, but Nazim almost died. We actually don't care if Nazim dies at this point. We don't need him anymore. We're waiting. Here comes the second Aegis mode, and then it's going to be the Earth Shatter. I'm going to wait till Deimos is a little higher at like 90. Okay, now I'm going to do Vladov. Now I'm going to do Dolores. Let's wait one moment. Let's go with Deimos and Rourke. Here comes the Earth Shatter. Here we do the shields with Vortex, and this is going to help us tank really nice. There we go, and now we can get S-Tray going. See the Falling Rocks? We tanked it because of the shields, because the first hit we took wasn't so bad. And you see I was waiting to trigger Hollow until I had already triggered Vortex, because I wanted to get that benefit. We can trigger Nazim, it doesn't matter. He's already up to 4 stacks. It's getting really scary. I actually put out DPS much faster than I anticipated, so theoretically I may have just thrown off the run, so you may see me rewinding, because what I want to do is go Vortex, mid-on Vortex, but it looks like that's going to be really, really hard for us to do right now. But we will need another healer round. Worst case, I'll pick up at the beginning of this phase, and if we put out that same kind of DPS, I'm not used to doing it this slowly and like perfectly, we'll do mid-on, then Vortex, and then we'll be good. But it is really tight. I mean, perhaps we can make it. Dolores is ready. We will trigger her right away now because we got to get this DPS out. You can see he's up to 5 stacks. Once it's 6 stacks, we're in a really tough spot. Trigger Vladov. We're doing good here, but we're kind of screwed. I think I'm going to fail the run here because I can't use mid-on. I need her for the cleanse, so we just have to try to tank this, and we're going to just fail. And this is something I dealt with so many times, so I'm actually going to leave it in so you guys can see it. Because this is like what it is. There's the Falling Rocks. Did we tank it? Oh my god, did we tank it? We tanked it! Okay, crazy. And that's where Vortex kind of comes in. He probably had a couple clutch RNG shields. Also, there is the Falling Rock RNG. Like, sometimes they don't fall in bad spots. They hit people that can tank it. Sometimes they, like, kill your Dolores and your Hollow, and it sucks. But we actually survived that. I will say, if you want to do it properly, and you put out that much DPS that fast, you know, when you're going from phase 1 to phase 2 in this 3rd round here, definitely just do a mid-on ult for the second Earth Shatter and do a Vortex ult for the 3rd. All right? So there we go. We did get the kill, and actually we have a ton of DPS lined up. Not too much Dolores, but this will be pretty good. And nothing's done yet, guys. This is the really hard part. This is by far the hardest part, just to get your 30k. Because once we clear this poison round, if we clear phase 3 for the 3rd time right now, beat this poison challenge, we will get 30k. Because we're going to be fine on phase 1. It's guaranteed 30k, and that is the max for Apocalypse 1. So let's see here. We got to time everything literally perfectly. Hollow's a little late now, which isn't good, but we should still be all right. Dolores is out of sync with our DPS. I think we just have to suck it up and trigger her. I don't think we really have the luxury to wait. All right, so here's the Acid Venom. We need to time this out perfectly. So the arm goes back. As soon as it kind of stalls out and starts to go forward, we can trigger her. And now we can instantly trigger Hollow, so she was good to go. Great, we got the cleanse, we're good. Quite nice. Trigger Vladov. Potentially I could have even sat on Dolores, but felt like a big risk. Look how hard he's hitting now, it's crazy. Get Deimos going. Let's get Rourke going. All right, now this is the key thing with Vortex here. So here comes the Acid Venom. Remember, we're not going to do it right away. We're going to wait for that hand. For when that starts coming down, that his right hand on our left side, we trigger that. Okay, looks good. So we hopefully should be able to tank the Cyclops Gaze. Come on, tank it. So normally that would completely wipe me. You can see Rourke almost just died as it is. So we'll trigger Dolores, trigger Estrid. I think we're going to hold on here. Well, I actually might first try this. This is crazy. We actually can trigger Nazim because we're not close enough to the end that we're worried about him not being ready for phase 1. You can see we're already almost at 26k. Let's trigger Hollow as soon as possible. And this is where it gets tight, and this is why I need that Mana Spring set that I'm going to tell you about when we do the builds. Now she is ready. Midon is ready for another cleanse, and this is the difference. So here he comes. I'm going to start going forward right there. Now we trigger. Everyone's cleansed off, and now we actually kind of are off to the races with only 12% left. With Dolores ulting, we should be good to go, and we should get the kill before he does another poison round. Here comes a big slam. Scary, scary. And down he goes, baby. Let's trigger Vladov. And there you go. This will push us by the end of phase 1. We will get our 30k. Cannot believe you guys. I probably attempted this at least 40 times because these take so long. Maybe more like 50 or 60. I don't know. Just for this challenge. And I only beat it once before, and that was right before filming. And now 2 in a row. That's awesome. Beating it meaning getting the 30k. Let's throw this on 2x. We can sit on Nazim and Hollow. That's the key thing to do. We will trigger Dolores because we can't just coast through. Now that we're on round 4. You can see we've got 3 of these stacks of the buffs there. Very scary stuff. This is very dangerous when he's in the overdrive mode times 3. We wait, we wait, we wait. We wait for that Death Saw. Here's a big slam, which like could kill people. Look at Nazim. He's like about to die. That's insane. That's terrible. I trigger Vortex just to be safe. You saw Nazim with like a sliver, right? The epics don't have stats. Like that's like the design flaw with this game. Like the epics, it's all about stats in this game. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's a game, but it's so much about stats, and the epics have such drastically lower stats than their legendary counterparts. That's why this is so hard, not because these guys have such horrible kits or something. So trigger Nazim, then Hollow right away, same as always. Let's get Estrid going. You can see we've had really good, this is the defense break. We've had really good uptime on it, like the whole fight, right? I'd say at least 90% of the time we have uptime on it. There, it went off for a second, it came right back. We're going to trigger after this. We'll trigger Midon just to be safe and heal everyone up. I don't think he goes straight to another slam. No, he doesn't. And now we do Nazimers. And we do Hollow. And we're good enough, guys, that I'm not going to use any of our DPS. And we're going to do the same cycle into the 4th time. In the 4th time, we're going to do the Aegis. So there's so many numbers I'm saying. Phase 2, round 4, which is coming up next. We will save our DPS heading into that again. That is where I failed last time. And look, we just passed 30k. I envision that's where we're going to fail again. Trigger Vortex to be safe. All right, Nazim's almost ready. Yeah, there's the slam. And look, Nazim, you see that? Nazim died. And Rourke died. Even though I did the shields with Vortex. That's what I'm saying. It gets so ridiculous. It really does. So I should have been using my DPS already, getting it going. But don't worry, we'll just do it now. There's no way we were going to beat the 4th Aegis anyway. So this really isn't the end of the world. We'll get the kill before the Saw is done. There you go. So my best was like 36.7. I'll put a screenshot of that up towards the end, but looks like we're good for like 33 or 34 here. We'll do our best. I'll take this to the end, but that is all the key stuff. The one thing I will explain is this is how you should properly cycle when you're on the phase 4. This is how you should properly cycle the Earth Shatters. That I can show you. We won't have the DPS right now because everyone's dead. Well, actually really just Rourke. I guess theoretically if we tanked without Rourke it'd be possible. I don't think we can do that, but it is, you know, could be in the cards. I don't think we'll have, without Rourke, we're missing not a ton of DPS, but some DPS, so that's not good. So here comes the 2nd Earth Shatter, right? So when he does that, for that one, he might already slam us here and kill us. We just held on. So Deimos just died, just from a hand slam. Oh, you know why? Because Deimos became the new highest HP. So if Rourke was there, we could have kept going. But here comes the 2nd Earth Shatter, like I want to show you. No, sorry, Aegis mode, then 2nd Earth Shatter. I'm getting ahead of myself here. There's Rourke. So now we do have a tank back, but our main DPS is gone, so we're kind of toast. So here it is. For that one, trigger Vortex, get the shields up, and you can tank it. Yes. So without Deimos, we won't have the DPS to make it here, but at least I can show you guys what to do. And now for the second one, he's only going to have 5 stacks, not 6, so slightly less scary. Here's another slam. We could die. Rourke almost died. You can see also using like a fighter as a tank becomes less and less viable as these fights go on. Yeah, we're halfway with halfway time, but no Deimos, so we're kind of toast. This is the second Aegis, then he's going to do the third Earth Shatter. So the first one we tanked with no one, then the second one we did with Vortex. Here's the third one. For this one, I'm going to use Mid-On. She's not helping with tankage, but she gives herself a shield. And then very, very importantly, she's going to do much higher healing. So in between this, she should get a quick, nice heal, and that could be the difference before the rocks. For phase 4, it kind of isn't with what I'm working with, as you can see, but that is the strat. That is the thinking there. Now he's up to 6 stacks, and we are not in a happy spot. Deimos is back, fortunately, but I do think too little, too late. And now these 6 stacks, he should go straight to the Earth Shatter. So it's basically the way it goes is Earth Shatter, Aegis mode, Earth Shatter, Aegis mode. But when he's at 6 stacks, it just alternates. So we're toast here. Okay, Rourke held on. But now he should go straight to an Earth Shatter instead of a second Aegis mode. Yes, I'm actually right about something. So now we would use Vortex again. And yeah, we still die, right? But that is the strat, theoretically. Especially if you're going to be having better heroes with or if you're using a damage reduction like from Volca, you very likely could tank that stuff. But yeah, that's as good as we can do. Can we at least get 35k? Let's just put on auto ults at this point. Nothing really matters. We're about to get wiped. Come on, guys. So close, yet so far. Without Dolores, I don't see it happening. I think a wipe's incoming. Going to be just nearly 35k. Not too shabby, if I say so myself. I'm really happy I first tried this for the video. Obviously, this turned into a long video, but I wanted to explain everything properly. There you go, 34.7k. Do I think I could beat that phase with this comp? Maybe if I got good RNG and timed everything out perfect, but I think all in all, it's just too light. I'll show you the damage right now. You can see Deimos is an absolute god, then Wrath, pretty close with Estrid and Vladov, and then Rourke. Yeah, it's not much, but it is something, and it could have been more if he didn't die too. But that's better than your normal tank that wouldn't do like anything. It'd look a lot more like what Nazim was doing down here. So it really isn't insignificant. There we go. I'll show you the healing too. Tons of self-healing from Wrath. And then honestly, really good stuff from Mid-On. And that's because every time she ults, she's guaranteed the shield from Rourke. So that's largely on the back of Rourke. Good stuff. I'll put on the screen right now so you can see my run before this. It's slightly better, but it was the same idea. We died at the same phase. Both of them got the 30k. That is the key thing. Let me very quickly take you through the builds. And then, yeah, I'll let you guys go. Remember, I'll take this moment to remind you, the point of this is not say, use these epic heroes and go get 30k. The point is, use better heroes than this, but that fulfill similar roles, and then you'll be good. That is the key thing. So here's Wrath. You can see Soulbound Arcana set. I showed you very quickly. Attack, crit caps, 306, 1.5 second interval. He is in a Wailing Skull. Let's go now while we're here. I should be able to find Deimos. There he is. Also a maxed out Wailing Skull. He's in very high attack Soulbound Arcana, as I showed you guys before. You can see 14.7, 1.6, 285 crit damage, and he's crit capped. And remember, guys, I don't want to see any comments saying, of course, blah, 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 your gear. Then just use better heroes. The point of this, of course I need to use good gear because I'm really limiting myself on heroes. If we even just brought Volca, we could have gotten away with way less gear than this, all right? And certainly, if instead of Deimos you're bringing Arrogance, and instead of Vladov you're bringing Lust, and so on and so on, instead of Mid-On you're bringing Eloin, it all gets better and better and the gear requirements go further and further down. It's actually not that hard to get 30k on Apoc 1. Obviously, as you adapt this stuff to Apoc 2, it can be really, really hard. I'm still working on getting my 80k. I haven't gotten higher than like 69,000 yet. But yeah, I mean, that's because when you get to those later phases in Apocalypse 2, the requirements are crazy and it becomes very hero specific, especially if you're like me with no legendary lords. Let's keep going. Vladov, another Soulbound Arcana set. Nothing too interesting. 11.38k attack. That was a little low. 1.5 second interval. I do wish he was a little faster. And you can see nearly capped at 99 with a ton of crit damage. But he was fast enough for that very, very consistent bleed up time, right? And I will say, if you want the good bleed up time, you definitely are going to want him to have A1 to get, oh, I'm in the way. There you go. Each basic attack launched. I can actually move myself back down now. The bleed is very clutch, very nice. That's where a lot of his damage is coming from. So you could even get away with less of a DPS-y build since he is getting a lot of damage from those bleeds. Let's go to Dolores. So this is not your typical Dolores build. It might look like it. No Ancients. I never have Ancients on my Dolores, but I do have this piece. So I actually am running an HP bonus piece to make sure she's not constantly dying and getting toasted. I like had to do that. But it luckily has a big flat attack roll and an attack bonus roll, but you might have to do that too. This was one of the big adjustments that helped push me over the edge towards the end. She is in a maxed out golden scarab. While we're here, there's my holo. Again, not your typical holo build. I went for a life force set. She needed tankiness. Holo does not have a lot of base HP. None of these epics do. It was difficult. You can see we had to go for an HP bonus piece here. So all in all, it's not such an amazing healer build. It's not bad, 13.3k attack, but I went for high HP or high enough that she doesn't always just die, very fast, and then with a lot of rage regeneration, or at least the most I could with the amount I actually sacrificed a lot, I should say, in favor of HP. She's in a maxed out euphoric orb, and if you're going to complain about the maxed out artifacts, there's no reason you should be doing this content and you haven't maxed out all your artifacts. You can do that so early on in the game. As soon as you do artifact material rate 18, farm that non-stop till you have a couple key artifacts maxed out. That is an efficient, boring thing to do. Boring, yes. Efficient, yes. That is the first line there. I already showed you. Oh, no, I didn't. Here's Rourke. So he's in the closest I could get to like HP bonus DPS gear. So there's a little crit rate. There's a little crit rate and attack speed, but then also looking for defense bonus and stuff. There's a little crit rate and then a lot of defense bonus and rage regen. And then same thing here. We're looking for a little bit of crit rate and then HP bonus. And then HP bonus. I couldn't get any more crit rate. You can see not a single little bit of crit damage, and he still put up whatever it was, like 14 million damage. I think my previous one he did like 16 or something. I mean, it really is something for like such a tank build. You can see he comes out to 93.3k HP. He's got pretty good base HP for an epic. Very low base defense, so even getting him to 4100 was tough, and that's kind of why he starts dying at the end. He's in a realm tear. Ideally you'd want him in this, the Key of the Forsaken, and you would want either that or a Lunacy Visor. But if you wanted a mix of damage and tankiness, you'd want this. But I found from my testing the max out Realm Tear was better than the promo one, Key of the Forsaken. So there you have it. Estrid, she's an Infernal Roar, high DPS, high speed. We want high speed because we want as many basic attacks as possible to land the defense breaks as often as possible to keep good uptime. You can see she is very high. Where is it? Well, guys, I just found something out. I really hampered myself because my Estrid, I was thinking of my test server Estrid that was fully built. I was like, why does she have 4123? She actually has the highest base attack of any epic in the game. It's at like over 5200. Well, my Estrid this whole time was missing 2 stars of promotion. So it could be even easier with your Estrid. She could do even better. Mine was missing 2 stars of promotion. What an absolute idiot. We still got it done. Max skills, all that good stuff. But yeah, want high base attack and then a lot of DPS. Obviously, this attack could be way higher if I had her built properly. We still got her crit capped at 300% crit damage. Wow, that is like, that's crazy. I'm such a fool. Then we've got mid on. If we go over here, we put her in like heavy attack speed, heavy rage in, but also as much HP as we could get with a Monospring set. This is +3 rage regen auto. So this is 3 more ticks of rage per second. That is really good. It helps her cycle the ult. I couldn't cycle it perfectly without it. There you go. And then she's in these ancient pieces because I wanted the attack speed and the rage regen. Simple as that. For her artifact, even though she doesn't need the attack, I did run her in a maxed out golden scarab. That is to get the additional 50% rage regen. Again, we need to cycle that ultimate as fast as possible. All in all, not nearly as much HP as I'd like, 35.6, but at least it's something. 1.5 second attack interval with 536 attack speed is very good. Heal effect comes in at 87, which is quite nice when you take into account the Pantheon. That stuff is all pretty solid. We're nearly done, guys. Trust me, I want to be done too. Here's Vortex. He's in an Invig set. Looking for HP bonus and then attack speed rage regen. I don't have the best gear. HP bonus, attack speed, and then some heal effect and flat HP. This one we got to go attack speed. This one is a great piece. HP bonus, rage regen, heal effect. And then here I'm just going for a lot of attack speed and then attack speed with some tankiness, some HP. You can see he's in a maxed out Elysian Epitaph, so good single target heals. Finally, Nazim, he's there just as you saw to spam those stuns when we need them. And how do we do it? We want him tanking because I don't want him to die. He's not dealing any damage anyway. So rage regen here, then attack speed with some tankiness, then a rage regen piece here. No attack speed, but he didn't need too much. I'm really going for the tankiness now. HP bonus, defense bonus, flat defense. He has very low base defense, so I needed to get this. I found like at least like 1600. If we go there, nice defense bonus, HP flat defense. And in here, I got HP bonus, flat HP, defense bonus, and attack speed. very good. All in all, he was fast, not that fast. He was tanky, not that tanky. It was good enough. 1.4 second interval, 387 speed. And then the key thing here, where's the Rage Regen? 76% Rage Regen. The artifact I was telling you about, the War Guides artifact, Nightmare Samsara, it's 5% rage for every 5 basic attacks, or any attacks, I should say. And then when you get it maxed out, it's 7.5% rage. This is all the difference. If your Nazim isn't cycling, you need this. That's why. It can even work at base promo. You'll just need to make him faster. But this is why. You need this artifact. Guys, thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to Slate for starting this whole crazy thing I've been doing for the past while with her amazing challenge. Go check out Slate. Check out the other creators that went for this. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, like it. Get in the comments. Share with your mother. And I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.